Okie dokie, so when last we left off, we were creating windows for our buildings, and now we're on the middle building that I have here, the yellow one. I'm going to create long windows by drawing a thin, stretched out rectangle. And then I'm going to decorate the rectangle with window panes, as represented by these small vertical lines that I'm going to draw inside the rectangle. Now it's time for me to cut these out very carefully, and if you remember from last time, we cut these out with a little bit of the paper around the windows. So make sure you do that again. Go ahead and glue it on. Hold it down for about 10 seconds or so that it sets in place, and make sure to place these windows low enough underneath the roof so that if the roof folds down, it doesn't cover up the windows. Now for this long building in particular, I'm not going to draw a door, so let's just pretend like the door is on the side of the building and keep going. As an interesting detail, I'm going to grab a red piece of scrap paper, and from this red scrap paper, I'm going to cut out two thin rectangles. These are going to be smokestacks that are on top of the yellow building, which is going to give it the look of a factory, like they're making something on the inside of this building. And of course, air pollution is very naughty, so maybe this factory is out of business. But I do like the way that these simple rectangular shapes make for the look of a factory. So if you're wanting to try this kind of building, make one of the smokestacks a little shorter than the other, and I think it'll look great. Let's continue on to the next one. Next, I'm going to draw more windows on this orange piece of paper that I'm working with. And these windows are going to have a curved top, and I'm going to draw a line, a vertical line right down the middle, and then some horizontal lines to give these windows several panes. So as I draw these windows, I'm going to of course cut them out, leave the orange paper around the outside, give them some glue with my glue stick, and paste them on my purple building. After that, I'm going to give my purple building a door, and for this door I'm going to give it the same shape as the windows, which is rounded on the top. Okay, it's now time to decorate the last building, the light blue one all the way on the right. I'm going to reach into my bag of paper scraps, and I'm going to get out a purple. And on top of this purple, I want to make a different window. So let's make it just a little bit more detailed. The first thing that I want to do is with my pen, I'm going to draw a rectangle. Now this rectangle is going to be almost as wide as the blue building that I'm making. On the inside of my rectangle, I'm going to draw a smaller rectangle. Very nice. And then on the inside of the smaller rectangle, I'm going to draw 1, 2 vertical lines. And then inside each of these 3 squares that I've created, I'm going to draw a plus sign. Nice. That's a different kind of window. Now I'm going to trim it and then glue it down. Again, holding it for a few seconds to make sure it really holds in place. And for this one, I'm going to draw a different kind of door. This one's going to be a rectangular double door. So I'm going to draw a rectangle underneath my window. And then I'm going to draw a vertical line right in the middle. And then 2 teeny tiny little rectangles. And those are going to be the panels where you push the doors open. All right, great. Nice. Okay, so our next step is it's time to make some snow. Lay down some newspaper to protect your surface, or any kind of scrap paper. Place your artwork down, and whenever we paint, of course we're going to need the paint. We're going to use white for snow. You're also going to need a jar with some water in it. Definitely going to need a piece of chipboard, some kind of palette. You can also use the newspaper itself for the palette if you'd like, if that's easier. And you're definitely going to need a paintbrush and a paper towel as well, which I'm not going to show here. It's off to the side. Go ahead and give yourself about an M&M size little blob of white glue. It's time to paint, and we're going to start with the roofs. So dip your paintbrush in the white paint, and very carefully I want you to paint kind of a blob shape of white on top of the flaps that we've made for each of our buildings. Be very careful not to get it on top of the main part of the building. We just want to make it look like snow has fallen and is lightly resting on the roofs. Now, let's go ahead and put a nice thick layer of snow on the ground. This is the reason why the doors are a little high off the building. we want to cover the ground with snow, which means that we're also going to paint not only along the bottom of our blue rectangle, but a little bit on top of the lower parts of our buildings. And it looks like I've run out of paint, so I'm going to give myself another small M&M size blob. And with that small M&M size blob, I've got more paint. It's now time for me to clean off my brush because, believe it or not, I'm done using it for now. So I'm going to drag my brush back and forth along the bottom of my jar. So whatever container you have, go ahead and do that, and you'll give yourself a nice milky looking bit of liquid there. Dry it off with the paper towel that I mentioned before. And if you'd like, you can go ahead and get an Q-tip, a cotton swab, and dip it in your paint. And I want you to very carefully put dots. And these dots, of course, are going to be the snowflakes falling gently on our town. Make sure to spread them out. Be very careful to place the dots. Don't just peck at the paper and tap, 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 tap really fast. Place the dots very carefully, not only on the sky, but also on your buildings. Paste it directly on your building so that it looks like the snow is falling everywhere. And there you have it. You've got this wonderful snowy town with the snow falling. I think it looks fantastic. Not only that, but if you prop it straight up somewhere in your home, it can be a Christmas card or just a decoration that you made all by yourself. You can even write a message on the inside and give it to somebody special that you care about. Well, I hope you enjoyed this project. That's all I've got for now, and I will see you next time.